Hello and welcome to Sterling Armory Sword Talk. It's episode 58, and we got a little bit of a different episode today because we have some new special guests to talk about some recent events. So let's jump into it now. Let me pull them up real quick. I'm still working with the new system here, so give me a sec. Alrighty, so boom. All right. Oh, I actually fully switched it over yet. Okay, there we go. All right, hey guys. Forgot one thing. Knew I was going to forget this. There we go. So real quick intro. My name is Chris Fields, owner of Sterling Armory, sword maker, and we talk about everything sword related on the Sword Talk podcast, from film swords to HEMA to Renaissance fairs, everything in between. And joining me today, we got two special guests that are coming on from John's from Florida, then Dan from, I'm not sure why our names aren't shown, give me one sec. Dan from California, who ran a cutting tournament a couple weekends ago. You guys want to give yourself an introduction while I figure out why our names aren't shown here? John, you want to start?
Sure. I'm John Knoch. I am co-founder of Crossroads Swords out here in Central Florida, over in like West Orlando area. And I love teaching swords, taking sword classes, been going across the country. I'm originally from California and moved out here 10 years ago, but I'm actually looking at coming back. So swords are cool.
That they are. I'm still not sure why our names aren't showing here. You know what? Dan, you want to give yourself an introduction here?
Yeah, sure thing. So, I'm Dan. I'm Dan Cheung. I'm a student over at SoCal Swords, or based in Southern California, hence SoCal. My special interest is mainly in cutting, so that's for the most of what I do. And I'm here. I just ran a cutting tournament out of our club. I ran it alongside AJ. AJ, actually, he's the person on the very right in my picture.
Yay! So hi, AJ. We say hi to you. So that's going to be our topic of the day. Is the tournament that they ran. But before we get there, next part is drinks. So, real quick, what we do here just to liven things up a little bit. I still don't know why our names disappear when we switch over, but I'll figure that out later. But I'll start. So I have a fun one. It's Thanksgiving time, or it's Halloweenish time, I should say, not Thanksgiving. And I wanted to get in a little spirit, and so I'm drinking some peanut butter whiskey. Just one or two out of my little pumpkin. I couldn't find a pumpkin whiskey, or else I would have tried that. But yeah, this is pretty good. John, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking Spooky Juice.
Ooh,
it's a red blend, and I'm drinking out of a spooky glass, so it makes sense.
Hey, we're on the right season. Dan, we can't see you, but I forgot to mention Dan doesn't have a camera, so we're just gonna go off audio for Dan. Dan, we can't see you, but what are you drinking?
Yeah, I can say anything, and you can't prove that I don't.
I know.
But I've got for myself a warm Heineken because I forgot to put it in the fridge this morning.
Oh, that's really good.
It's actually not terrible.
All right. So guys, let us know what you're drinking at home when you're watching along, and sound off below. So next order of business here, the news. So we do have some news topics before we dive into the main topic. So first of the news topics is AGO was this weekend, or
this last weekend, yeah.
Yeah. So when this airs, it'll be 2 weekends ago. And we had some, they also had a cutting tournament as well. So today we're kind of highlighting cutting tournaments. We tend to do that anyway because cutting tournaments, we want to get out there a bit more, and they don't seem to get as much attention as the regular tournaments. So we're kind of highlighting this. But one of our friends, and we're going to talk about him a little later as well, I'm sure, but RJ, he medaled, I think he was, I actually had the standings here. I can't remember if it was bronze or silver. It looks like bronze there.
Yeah.
Yeah, bronze. Right?
Yeah, he took bronze.
Look at Steven
so-
tweeting. I love him.
Yeah, so I'm trying to RJ AGO. They don't do sharps, right? It's paper cutting. Is that correct?
It's they take a cold steel and they dull it down to it's where it's practically blunt, and then they
Yeah.
cut paper with it.
Okay. So yeah, it's still a good form of cutting. I mean, it definitely takes a lot of practice and training to do that. It's not. It sounds easy, but it's not as easy as you think, especially when you're doing certain feats. I didn't see all the feats they had there, but the tournament looked like a lot of fun. So yeah, we got the standings. So Tier A cutting. Looks like Stephen Cheney took first. Michael Norbley, and please tell me if I'm saying these wrong, so I'm not familiar with these guys. Took silver, and RJ took bronze, and then Zach came in fourth. And then for Tier B, so for Tier B longsword, which would be opening longsword in different tournaments, Eric Archer took gold. Henry Reynolds took silver. Jordan, how do you say that? Kennel?
Oh.
Jordan, sorry for butchering your name. Jordan Cannell took bronze, and then another one. Michael Ginglowski. Again, sorry. Took fourth. So congrats, guys. Hope you guys had a great tournament. I've always seen AGO. I've never been able to make it, but everyone who's been says it's a great tournament. So yeah, awesome news there. So aside from the good news, we have some sad news, and that is we just found out late yesterday that Valley of the Sun cutting tournament it's not happening in 2026. So it sounds like it may not be happening at all going forward. And that's sad for us because we love this tournament. We love the whole group. However, I mean, there's a bright side. The bright side is Cactus Cup is in July, same group, and they will be adding cutting this year. So I think everything from Valley of the Sun will just transfer to Cactus Cup. It's just a different time of year. Valley of the Sun was a very special tournament, though, I think, for a lot of cutting folks. I'm not sure what you guys think. I know both of you guys have been.
That's where I met Dan, actually.
Yeah.
That's where I met John. Yeah. Yeah, Valley of the Sun's it's been one of my favorites. The vibe is, because it's just a cutting tournament, the vibe is pretty different.
It is.
And it's a lot more fun, and I always enjoy my driving out to Arizona sword trips. They're always super fun. So sad to see this one go.
Yeah, same. So yeah, hopefully, I believe Cactus Cup, moving, it's in July, so that's close to the time that Combat Con was. So it sounds like that, or feels like that may become the next Combat Con, or at least one of those tournaments, because there's also Queen's Gambit and a couple other ones, similar time frame. So I'm hoping they all become bigger and bigger. That'd be great. So, are you guys going to Cactus Cup next year?
Absolutely.
I'd love to.
I figured you would be. So yeah, that's the news for the day. Again, we're sad about Valley, but we understand, that it's tough to run a tournament, but especially when you got two, right, going to 1 year. So yeah, let's get into the topic of the day, though. So topic of the day. Yay, Baby Moon, new cutting tournament.
Whoa.
Baby Moon.
I was actually quite sad to miss this. I knew it was more of a... Actually, did I leave that up? Yeah, I'll leave it up. So I knew it was more of a local tournament anyway, but it was still, you guys seemed like you had a ton of fun. I do have some images and some videos, but before we dive into it, Dan, I guess, do you want to give a background of how it came to be and what you and AJ were thinking, in terms of the tournament?
Yeah, sure thing. The thought process for it started earlier in the year, starting from, very beginning of the year. We said that Valley of the Sun happened, and at Valley of the Sun, there was an experimental paper cutting tournament. And so we saw that it's like, hey, this is a very interesting tournament, like a whole tournament surrounded around paper cutting. Like, we were trying to imagine like what kind of feats could be for it, and in the process we kind of devised like a feat that's like, oh, this would be a really fun feat. and it didn't end up being at the Valley of the Sun tournament. So we kind of thought, let's do it ourselves. I want to see the feat happen. So let's make it happen. Because like I've wanted to also run the cutting tournament at some point. So this is kind of like our best excuse for it. And yeah, Chris, you did miss this one. Yeah, it was kind of in spirit local, but we would have taken anyone. We tried to, yeah, we took John. And, yeah, and we did try to talk people from like the Arizona crowd to come too, but they ended up not being able to.
Yeah, how many did you end up having attend?
We had a total of, I believe it was 23. Okay. We did have a couple more, but they had to drop for various reasons. I know it was covered in the last episode that Ryan was going to attend, but he ended up getting COVID. Yeah. So really just bad timing.
Yeah, he was pretty disappointed in that.
Yeah, we really missed him.
Yeah, he missed being out there too. Yeah, he messaged me. He's like, "Oh man," like he's like, "I got COVID." So yeah, you could tell he was very disappointed. So yeah, like I guess how long have you guys planned this tournament then? Has it been a couple months, or has it been planned for a while, or?
Really so we kind of knew we wanted to do it back in like May or June, but we didn't really start like the actual planning of it until like after Combat Con. So like,
okay,
it's been like maybe it's like 1 to 2 months.
Yeah,
was okay. Yeah,
awesome. Do you think it's going to be an annual thing or just a one-off? Or
it's probably not going to be called Baby Moon, but we think we'll.
You gotta go to the name there, right? You gotta explain.
Yeah, so we went for Baby Moon because it's kind of like AJ's about to be a father, and yeah, the tournament took place pretty much like a month away from it, and so it's like okay, like there's a, and then also if we make it a silly name, people are gonna notice and start talking about it. So it's like Baby Moon. This is a tournament. We'll have it kind of in honor of AJ. Yeah, the due date should be in a couple of weeks. So everyone, please congratulate him in advance.
Congrats, AJ.
But yeah, we might have we might run an in-house tournament again next year. We're kind of playing around with when it might happen. Possibly like June, maybe late May or June. We don't want to be too close to really like too many other events. So. The timing on that's still kind of up in the air. And probably we'll probably have more tournaments and have it be kind of a 2-day event. So this is also kind of inspired by Valley of the Sun not happening next year. It's like, well, dang.
Yeah. Did you know that was going to happen?
No, it kind of came as a surprise to us too, because like, we always look forward to it.
Yeah, same. So yeah, so it was a 1-day event. You did. I'm trying to remember. So Kyle did a great video on an alien tube. I'm trying to remember what it was. So you did open longsword, advanced longsword, right?
Yeah, we did open and advanced longsword.
Was that it, or was there arming sword as well?
No, that was it.
Okay. That's good for a 1 day. So it's hard to get more than that in a day, right?
We kind of initially wanted to also have it be kind of like a mixed weapons, like mixed swords tournament, to have like the different feats be different swords. But the feats that we kind of devised and what we wanted to do ended up being like, oh, there's only one feat that does like a different weapon, so we might as well just do all longsword.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Did you restrict yourself to 1 day on purpose, or is that just the way you guys wanted to run it?
Yeah, we kind of did 1 day on purpose. We do. Just because like SoCal Swords, we run like so many classes, so we didn't want to cancel too many of them. So we tried to fit them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In one go.
I didn't think about that. Yeah. So John, how did you end up making your way out to? Well, I mean, I think a lot of folks know you're hopefully moving out there at some point, right?
Yeah.
But were you just in the area, or were you fly out to the tournament, or?
So I think it goes back to a couple SoCals ago. I was competing in a tournament, and then this guy comes and puts an armband on me, and he's like, "Hey, you went to this high school, right?" And I'm like, "What?" And it turned out to be AJ, and he and I were in band together in high school, and even worked at like a movie theater together and stuff like that. And so like when he started doing swords, and like was volunteering at SoCal Sword Fight, it was just complete coincidence that he recognized my name, and then we don't look exactly like how we did in high school and stuff, but ever since then it was just like, okay, yeah, I know this guy. And when I heard that he was actually married to someone, his high school sweetheart, who was also at the same high school and everything. So when I heard that they're having a kid and stuff, people are like, yeah, you need to come out to the tournament that we're doing as like a tribute and stuff. Plus, like, I love cutting tournaments as well. I haven't been able to afford to go to like every Valley of the Sun or Combat Con, etc. But like when I went to volunteer this last year at SoCal Sword Fight, I said, okay, the only thing I'm not going to bring any gear. The only thing I want to do is cut. So like, any chance I can come out and do cutting is fantastic. And I knew it was going to be somewhat small, but at the same time, like, it seemed like it was going to have a lot of really good challenges based on the way that AJ and Dan had been like planning it. And I've been I don't know if you have pictures or anything of the prizes and stuff, but
I do. I just have the two of the group. So
you can see the little trophies are very themed. I'll put it as little 3D printed baby rattle swords and stuff like that. So
this picture shows it a little better, but this is this is the finalist for I guess advanced longsword, correct?
Yeah.
So yeah, those are super cute. It looks like was that pulled from a Zelda model by any chance?
No, I believe it was designed. It was designed by our very own Mickey.
Oh, was it? Okay, yeah, that's pretty awesome. I thought it was the. I'm thinking back to the Zelda on the on the DS. That was the train one, but he had a sword that was very close to that. But yeah, super cute. Somebody else, I was trying to find the picture, but I couldn't find it. And apologies, I was kind of rushing for this, but somebody actually had it on the stand and took a picture of it, but I couldn't remember who it was.
I know I have one floating around somewhere. It's on my Instagram, but yeah.
Yeah. So congrats to the guys. So RJ took gold. Looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he won handily, as he does.
Yeah. Is that Nolan taking silver?
Yep, Nolan took silver and Sean took bronze.
Awesome. I mean, so as I was mentioning in the last Sword Talk, because we did announce the winners at that point. But yeah, for anyone in the cutting atmosphere or cutting world, these guys are all very well known. so congrats to those guys. I really wish I could have made that. It looks like a lot of fun. Then the next picture we got is...
Actually, before we move on, real quick fun fact about those trophies is that they're in fact filled with little pellets and they rattle just like a baby rattle.
They're a little baby rattle?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a fun little baby rattle.
That's pretty cool. Was it 3D printed? All is one thing with the rattle inside?
Yeah, it was 3D
printed. With
the sword is 3D printed halfway, and then they put in the little bits to make it rattle, and they finish.
That's pretty cool. So yeah, I think they're in the next picture as well. Yeah. And look who's holding the gold sword there. Who is that guy? So John, I mean, this is your big tournament, man. You've been waiting for this for how long?
Years, especially since you're talking about how special Valley of the Sun always felt. First time I go out there, I got 4th place, and I'm in finals, and it's just 2 feats, and I whipped them both and got 4th place, and they don't have trophies for 4th. So I was like, darn it. And I was very vindicated that the last 2 feats were at least relatively similar to those, and I did much better this time around. I'm like, yeah.
I mean, so I got the video that hopefully it'll play of your final cut there, because I mean everybody loves the double cut, right? so we'll show that here in a second. But yeah, Dan, I guess do you want to talk about the feats and how you actually came about the feats in the tournament? Because there's some pretty neat ones there. I think you just sent me a picture. I don't know if I can pull it up. Oh, there it is. Sadly, I can't pull that up at the moment. I wonder if I can just show it on my phone here. Maybe. So I don't know if it's
There
bright
you
enough.
go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. So awesome job to the one who designed those. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was Mickey.
Yeah, that's a cool trophy. I would love that myself. So, so good job on the trophies, guys.
Yes, shout out to Mickey of SoCal Swords. She's the best.
So yeah, I apologize. I don't have a lot of pictures. We just have the one video from the tournament, but for a very good video and photo overview of the feats, Kyle Alien 2 posted that video. But so I think he only covered open cutting though. He didn't cover advanced. Were advanced feats the same, or were they a bit different?
So the advanced feats were they were very similar, but they all have some sort of modification to make them more difficult.
Okay.
So I can go over the feats now. Although before that, one thing I did want to do for this tournament was force everyone to use a loner. Primarily because I kind of wanted, huh?
That's something I personally wouldn't like. Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason for that is because this tournament, because it's local and we have a lot of new cutters in our club, we didn't want a situation where someone would come in with like a Principe or something and just steamroll the whole tournament. So kind of to even the playing field, especially for the beginner cutters, just force everyone to use a loner so everyone is at least on the same playing field. And for that one, we used, at least for the tatami cutting, we used one of my personal A-trims, the 16A.7. It's a very good balanced sword. It fits most people.
Which
but that was
Caleb used to win the Combat Con Open.
Yes, Caleb used that particular sword to win Combat Con because before the cutting started, he came to me like, "Can I borrow one of your swords?" I'm like, "All right, do you want to use this one or this one?" And he picks the 16A.7. And yeah, he took gold and won pretty handily too. Yeah, so that was one of the things we wanted to do with our tournament was to force everyone to use a loner so everyone's on the same playing field.
That's the same for advanced too.
Yeah, advanced is using advanced like we decide the swords to use. Everyone uses the same ones. So that being said, the feats. The first one is we had 6 basic cuts because we want to kind of let beginners dip their toes in, and we had these on paper. What we like about paper as a cutting medium is because the target is so much larger, like wider surface area. It definitely enforces keeping your cut straight. So, because normally if you're cutting tatami or bottles, the targets are really only like 3 or 4 inches wide. So, like, you can have your cut be straight for that 4 inches and then kind of drop off like a rock afterwards, and the tatami doesn't care. But the paper does care, so it's a little bit different there. Even if there's no resistance, it still shows that you need to maintain your form throughout your whole swing. So we had 6 basic cuts, kind of a descending cut from each side, an ascending cut from each side, and then a horizontal cut of some sort from each side. We let people deal with do a middle house or Zwerkhaus. It was their choice. The modification for advanced for this was they had to use a fetter, so a blunt sword, to cut the paper.
I thought you were going to say you put a tatami behind the paper.
So yeah, we thought about that. That's definitely a fun one from before my time, from what I heard from other tournaments.
I think that was Combat Con,
SoCal
right?
2022.
Okay, yeah. That'd be fun.
That was the year before I started doing swords. But yeah, like I would love an excuse to bring a feat like that back. Yeah. So that's the first. Yeah. So that's the first feat. Cutting paper with a fetter is pretty difficult, especially when it's when you're doing the ascending cuts and and the horizontal cuts just because it's a little bit harder to accelerate the blade that way.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. What do you guys think? I think ascendings are the hardest with the feather on paper, personally.
Paper is already pretty hard to do ascendings on in general, let alone with a feather.
Like for the horizontals, if you work, it's usually not. Did you allow works?
Yeah, it was either a Zwerk or a middle how. And I think RJ did one of each. He did his Zwerk for the first one and then the middle for the second.
Typical RJ. Showing off. Awesome.
Yeah, RJ did very well for that one. Yeah. It's a delight to watch.
Yeah, always. Yeah, always. So that was the first feat you said?
Yeah, so that was the first feat. The second feat it's reactive cutting, also known as semaphores. Like you gotta have that cutting tournament, right? It's a really good feat. It's kind of tests most of the fundamentals. I kind of consider like the gatekeeper between like the gatekeeper for like intermediate level cutting. I think if you can do well at semaphores, you can do well at most cutting tournaments. So that one had to be like the second feat. At least it had to be in the first elimination round. So it was a fairly standard semaphores feat. But that being said, the advanced modification, what the advanced people had to do, it's something like we like to do at SoCal, is that they have to cut through a tatami with a 1-inch dowel through the middle.
Okay.
So
did you use the oak or the poplar?
We used pine.
Oh, pine. Okay.
It was
better than the oak one.
No, it might have been poplar, but it was the same dowels we used for SoCal Sword Fight, which I believe was pine.
Okay. Yeah, the oak ones were just really hard.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say another thing that Dan did too is he didn't have it randomized per se. He prescribed the cutting pattern and then also changed it just by like adding one ascending cut earlier in the sequence for the advanced as well.
Yeah. So the pattern, it wasn't fully randomized. I did like pick the pattern and chose it mainly because like I didn't want there to be I didn't want for a beginner to have the first cut be an ascending cut and then they just immediately despike the mat and then it's over.
Right, yeah. Hey, that's what I did at Comic-Con.
I didn't necessarily want that for that to be the case. Yeah. And I did like I made the pattern to where most people would have a good chance of making it to the end. At least if they didn't despike the mat on an ascending cut. But like as far as like mat economy goes, I wanted people to have at least a good chance of making it to all 8, whether or not they cut through or fail or not. That's cool. And I was actually talking to RJ shortly before the tournament. It's like, how mean should I make the advanced ones, the advanced sequence? And he at first said like, oh, you should be pretty mean about it. But I was like, oh, well, it is on the dowel. And he's like, nah, you should only be like a little bit mean. So I just had ascending cuts a little bit earlier in the sequence. And I think they did one more than the open cutters did.
Yeah. So John, you did really well on these, right?
That was my favorite semaphore, not just because I did well on it, but I liked the sequence in that I favor left Unterhaus to begin with, and there were 2 of those, like one middle and one later in the sequence, and then it ends with a right Unterhau. And so like almost everyone, like, the last bit of tatami flies in the general direction, but I liked how like it was all structured and everything, and my heart was racing the whole time, but it was good. I like semaphores because you can kind of just turn your brain off a little bit, do whatever the screen says. Even if you like memorize the order or whatever, it's still kind of like, okay, just focus on like getting up there, doing the thing, getting back safe, and being ready for the next one. Don't lose the mat, have good mechanics, etc.
Yeah, I will say for that, that's more what you kind of require a good comfort level with your cuts to begin with, to be able to do that. Which again, I think is why semaphores is a good gatekeeper.
It's funny, John. So I don't know if you remember back on our when we were cutting in my old backyard, when you came over the one time. So yeah, you and I favor the lefts, and nobody else that I know does. We're the only 2 who favor that side.
I blame RJ.
If we're talking about like ascending cuts like Unterhaus, I do also prefer the left.
Oh, so all 3 of us, we're the weird ones.
Really? Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
RJ made me practice for like hours. Just left Unter House to get my first like double cut, and it just stuck.
What's funny is when I'm doing a double, I prefer the right. So I'm weird nowadays. So, but hopefully we're all at the same point where we can do both. But yeah, I definitely prefer left.
About that actually, I've never actually succeeded a double cut from the right using the true edge.
I know
I can only do a double cut from the right using the false edge. And like
harder.
it is harder and it's way scary, but for some reason it works so much better for me.
It does make the blade pattern flow a whole lot better. So it's funny enough, that pattern, false edge, leading edge, is a very common cut in the Chinese Gen arts. So,
oh yeah, I think I've seen some.
It's either block cut or it's cut. And so we had to do that a lot on bamboo and tatami, and so when I saw you do it, I was like,
"Oh, you would have loved coming here then."
So yeah, I got that on video too. I hope to have that in the Combat Con footage coming out. So I'll run it by you to make sure you're good with it before I post it. But I've just been really slow getting those videos edited together. So yeah, so John, you're doing. So were you in first place already after the second feat? Or...
So what it was is I didn't do well on the paper. Actually, I actually failed one of the cuts because I had my left unter, ironically enough, came in just short. So there was like a half-inch of paper at the beginning that held the whole thing. So it was a failed cut. So I was at like 9th place or something like that, or 11th place.
No, dude, you were
for the first
on that feat, but
and then
from the first
second
feat, yeah, but after the second, so in the first elimination, you were in second.
Yeah. So I did the best in semaphores. So I got first place in semaphores and ended up second overall after that. So
yeah. So I should tell everybody, if you do horrible in the first round, that doesn't mean you're out. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did also design the feats to where like the point values like we didn't want any one feat to be weighted too heavily.
Yeah. No, I mean that's fair, right? It always stinks when you do really well in a whole tournament and then you have that one cut that you miss, and that one cut is what takes you out, right?
Yep.
So it happens, but it sucks. I think we've all been there. So so that's the second feat. So that's the first elim, is that right?
Yeah, that's the first elim. We took the top 2/3. In this case, it was the top 14. Moving on to the next elimination round, which feats 3 and 4 are both thrusticuts, and the first of the thrusticuts was on paper. We had it be a thrust to controlled cut, which I'll talk about it a little bit more, but this is
I wish I had a visual, but apologies for keep calling back the alien tube, but he did show that.
This was the feat that kind of spawned this whole tournament to begin with. When we were thinking about this early in the year, it's like, oh man, I would really love a feat where you like thrust onto paper like inside of a circle and then extract and then cut and stop before the edge of the circle. It's like we thought that would have been really fun, and so we made a tournament, and this feat kind of spawned the tournament. So to talk about what the feat is that we draw 4 circles on hanging paper, and each circle has like 1 or 2 lines next to them, accompanying them. And so what the competitor is supposed to do is they need to thrust the longsword inside of one of the circles, and like you make sure that it goes through. So inside of the circle, and you extract the sword and you cut from the outside of the paper and stop before the line next to the paper. So it's an exercise in control. So it's kind of like if you're familiar with the cut to the button feats on like other paper cutting tournaments, like in SoCal Swordfight, we have it for I believe Tier B longsword and Tier A arming sword. It's a hybrid of that and the thrust to cut, and so we definitely saw that it was very challenging for a lot of the competitors, which yeah, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, the way you're scored is how well your initial thrust is and how clean it is. So obviously, if you miss the circle, then you've missed. But also, if you thrust it and the trajectory isn't straight and you end up like slicing the paper, then that's points against you. And secondly, yeah, when you do your cut and you stop, you're penalized based on how far away from the line you end up your cut ends. And if you cross the line, you lose all of your cut points. So it's kind of a Price is Right rules for that.
And I got it.
Yeah.
There's the paper.
Yeah, and so there's four of these shapes, and so people are doing 4 attempts total, and since there's 4 of them, we required competitors to do 4 different cuts. So it's going to be 2 descendings from each side, or 1 from each side for descending cuts, and 1 from each side on the ascending cuts.
Could you pick which you were using where?
Yeah, you could do them in any order.
Okay.
You could do whichever cut to whichever shape, as long as it was the same one you thrust.
Okay. Awesome. So yeah, I hope that makes sense, audience. So yeah, they thrust in to one of the circles, extract, and then do whatever cut it is that you're going to do of the 4 basic. 4 basic, or are you doing horizontals too?
It was 4 basic. Okay. Yeah, so the way we have the point value is pretty much you had to be, for the cuts, you had to be within like roughly 5 inches to get score for the cuts.
Yeah.
And for the advanced people, we penalized them double for their distance. So the advanced people had to be within 3 inches of the line to get score.
You didn't have to use the feather on this one, did you?
What was that? No, not the feather.
Okay, that would have been really hard.
John Franklin might make people do that, but I did not.
I'm trying to imagine if I could thrust with a feather. It really depends on the feather, right?
It is. I did try it. I did try it beforehand. It is possible to thrust with a feather.
We're using a rolled edge or a spatulated edge.
We use spatulated edges.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you should be able to. Then.
Yeah, but you really got to start it. You really.
So John looks like you missed just that bottom one there, huh?
Yeah, so I was actually standing next to Kyle, like we were like halfway down the line, and we're like strategizing because this was honestly like the most creative feat, something different that we've ever seen before. And
thank you.
Yeah, it really required you to go like, okay, I have to do ascending and descending cuts. I have to do them to the edges. So like we watched a bunch of different people, and like me and Kyle were both inspired by Wesley, who did a really good job where he like I think he had done an ascending cut from the bottom and then 2 ascending and then a descending at the top. And we're like, oh, this is great because ascending's like the hardest to really control. So if you just even tap it, that way you get pretty, you at least get, into the edge, but you don't want to like overdo and get too far. But with the Oberhaus, you have more control and you can kind of drive that down closer to the center. And so then I went to do a left Oberhau on the very first target, and it just batted the paper. And I'm like, oh no.
Were you aiming for the bottom one though?
Yeah, for the bottom one. And then the second 2 were the middle, where I did rising cuts. And those taps, one of them was close, one was a little bit further. But then the right Oberhau, I don't know if how many people got 0, but like I was able to stop it right at the line.
So you went pretty close there.
If I went past the line, I would have gotten 0 points on the whole thing. It would have been a full deduction. It would have been a failed cut. I
think that was like one of 2 cuts that were on the money.
Yeah, that's like perfect. So that's pretty slick.
Yeah, I think like Mickey had another perfect one or something like that. But yeah, so I mean, like it was super, super fun and it required strategy. And even when you strategized, it still wasn't perfect because you still had to perform it. I know that it was hard. Like if you did them in a different order, if you started top, all of a sudden the bottom of the paper is now kind of like hanging. And it was like, I remember, I think it was Mickey that like we had to she had to spin it so that she could actually like still thrust the last target or something.
Yeah, always start at the bottom if you can. Awesome. So Dan, looks like you went on mute there.
No, I'm still here.
Was there one more, or was that another elimination?
No, there is one more in this round.
Okay.
So the fourth feat is thrust to cut on the tatami roll. So fairly familiar feat. The difference we had this time was instead of 6 attempts, you got 4 attempts, and we also required you to do a different basic cut for each one.
That
yeah,
makes sense.
like
right? I always felt weird that it's always the same cut. I mean, I like it because I can do it, but it feels like should be doing more than one cut, right?
yeah, I was talking to a few others, and I was like talking about this. It's like, I kind of felt being allowed to do the same cut every time makes it kind of too easy. I might be biased just because this is like one of my best feats, is one of my favorites. It's like, nah, like doing the same cut every time is too easy. Let's make everyone do different ones, and because other tournaments they let you do the same ones. Seeing it just different this time kind of threw people off. But I thought it was a lot of fun, and just because you're cutting on different planes, we had to just 4. With that being said, the advanced folks they had it pretty rough this time. I was really mean to them for this. So the advanced modification for this is that we required the competitors to start out of measure and thrust with a passing step. So already that like makes it hard to aim your thrust. I still struggle with this. I had missed a target all the time. And then they had to do 6 total cuts. So it's a 4 basics, and we made them to 2 Zwerkhaus. To tatami. And
that wouldn't be so bad.
Well,
the right would
until I get to the part where I'm being conscious about the point weights, because if we count all 6, this would be very heavily weighted. A lot of the tournament will ride on this, so we ended up dropping their best 2 attempts.
Oh, okay.
So if they do like 4 really good ones and then 2 like totally failed ones, you're only getting credit for 2 of them. So
just curious,
it was.
Did everyone start with the Zorks?
Not everyone started with the Zwerks, although most of them did.
Okay,
I think I saw a couple who did the Zwerks last, which I personally wouldn't have done, but
that makes it hard.
I think the ones who did do it.
Down ones, yeah.
Yeah. Putting in the scores for this was kind of heartbreaking because I'm like I pull up scorecard and I'm like, all right, AJ, like throw me the numbers. It's like 0, 0, 2, 15. I'm like, what do you mean? They did so well. It's like, it's because they missed 2 of them. It's like, damn.
Yep.
So that was
do get thrown out. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a particularly brutal thrust to cut feat. And like the scores didn't vary too much, so it wasn't that people. I don't think people got too far ahead, so it was a decently balanced feat. With that being said, RJ might take inspiration from this the next time he puts thrust to cut in SoCal Sword Fight. So if they suddenly get really brutal, you know who to blame. Well, I'm sorry in advance.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing. One thrust to cut I'm surprised we haven't seen yet is a thrust to cut on a double mat. Now, granted, the mat is larger, so it's easier to thrust, but it's a lot harder to get through.
Yeah, we did do that. I remember doing it at like the after party cutting, like the cutting after party at Valley of the Sun, and it is tougher. But yeah, then you have the challenge of a double cut in general or a double mat in general.
Yeah, that'd be neat. I think I would like that. Awesome. So that means that's the next elim. Are you down to the finals then?
We are down to the finals. That's correct.
Awesome. Yeah. Is there one or 2 cuts in the finals?
2 feats on the finals.
Okay. I'll save one.
So it's top 4 for open, and since advance is just 4 people, it's just everyone in advance does everything, and we just made the scores cumulative there. But for open, we reset the scores to 0. So where you place depends on how well you do in the finals. So the classic SoCal way. So the first finals feat is continuous cuts. So you're cutting along the same plane, up to 6 cuts. So you're doing an Oberhau, Unterhau, Oberhau, Unter, alternating, and you're flowing between each one. So it's a fairly rapid feat. I do tell people you can go as fast or as slow as you want, as long as you don't stop. But just by the nature of it, it's a fairly quick feat.
Did you allow false edges at all?
We required them for advanced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
For advanced, we required them to use the false edge. I don't. I did not allow false edge for open. Well, although I think even if I did, I don't think anyone would have dared to do it.
Yeah. Well, was everyone using the same trim blade for in advance?
Yep. Everyone used.
Yeah. I mean, that blade's really good at that.
Yeah. We did use a different loaner for the paper cutting feats. Just because I know paper will dull a blade a little bit faster, so I was a little concerned about that. So I picked a different loaner for the paper, but for tatami, it was all the A trim.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
yeah.
So John, I noticed you squinted a little bit there. Did you have a problem with that?
The funny thing is, I practiced this at I went over and visited my buddy Caleb, and we brought out some mats and stuff, and I practiced this and I recorded it, and I showed it to Dan. He's like, Dan was like, wait a second, you performed exactly the same on this one, where it's like, I just did it so fast, and I did not need to do it fast, but I was just like, chop, 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 and the third one I miss, and then the last two are kind of meh, and like it. So I was like third place coming out of that feat because my cuts weren't great. And I missed one. So like I had another failed cut. But if you do take a little bit more of your time and set it up, same with thrusted cuts too. I have a habit of thrusting, and as soon as I extract, I immediately try to cut as fast as I can. Whereas like I was watching, Caleb when he had done his thrusted cuts at Combat Con, and he thrusts and he extracts, pretty quickly and sharply, but then he slows it down and then does a nice motion cut. It never like stops, but like he changes the speed quite a lot.
Yep.
And like I feel like that I should have been, targeting better and making sure each cut was landing as opposed to just pushing and rushing.
Were you nervous?
I tell all my students when they're doing the thrusted cut that you can go as fast or as slow as you want, as long as you don't stop. I recommend you slow down.
But even the continuous too, like I just want to go, and that was not the strat.
Yeah, on the continuous, I find when people start speeding up, they start losing range of motion, right? Because they're trying to speed up. Whereas, slow down a little bit, get that full range of motion, and each cut usually helps on those tatami.
But the two people that did better than me, that got the final cuts, like they were cutting the way that they fenced, which was very like exaggerated, dramatic, and like they were able to cut like pretty much. If the spike was there, they would have cleaved through it. I don't remember if
one of them did.
One of them did, and but like it was a successful cut.
So the one you're talking about, so that was James. He's going through the cuts. His fifth cut cuts through the spike, and his sixth cut coming back up, he cuts through the stand and the spike again. It's like,
did you penalize hitting the stand? Or
yes, we penalized hitting the stand. We penalized hitting the spike. So he got points against himself for that, but everyone was like, "Wow, okay."
Yeah,
it's entertaining.
Yeah. As long as your A trim's okay.
It's fine. That's if you've seen this, if you ever see the state of our bottle stands at the club, they are chewed up.
Right.
We've replaced them, I think, twice now, and we keep trimming them down. So it's like hitting the stand is fine. The blades are fine. It's hardened steel. I have not actually seen blades take damage from hitting the stands.
Yeah. Well, a good blade shouldn't, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
Talking about on the last one at Combat Con when Ryan just cracked the whole stand in half.
I split it down the middle. I've never seen like a stand split like that.
Yeah, that's good advertisement. Yeah, he signed it. Yeah.
And I think that also like speaks also to the spikes being oak, because he didn't even cut through the spike.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Thing, didn't even cut the spike.
He torqued the spike enough without cutting through it that it cracked the stand. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Yeah. So advanced, just they had to do it false edge. That was the adder.
Yep, that was the one modification for them.
Okay. No one lost a sword then, I hope. Right?
No. Yeah, it's I feel like for advanced we can kind of trust them to not lose a sword. But we wrote it in anyway. If you let go of the sword with both hands, you get disqualified. And
yeah, absolutely.
I just kind of like, even though we wrote it in, I did still like pray that it didn't happen.
Yeah. And then, so on the last feat, should I show the video first, or
yeah, go for it.
So we got John's video. Where'd it go? Hopefully it plays. Let me make sure. A lot of times when I add it to the stage, it'll play like automatically. So if it plays automatically, hopefully it catches up. So let's find out. Hold on. I gotta do that again.
Yeah, it was a really clean, beautiful double cut. And yeah,
I've seen John do that a lot. But is that the first one in the tournament? I think you've gotten one.
First one in a tournament, yeah. Like Valley was when I talked about those 2 feats that I whiffed, it was thrust to cut. This is the first time I had tried it, and I struggled pulling it back out, and then like cut 2/3 the mat away. And I even joked about asking them to, like, because we got one respike, if they could respike the bigger piece for me. And so like I didn't get much score on that, and then it was a double cut. And I failed, but I think all 3 of the others managed to get it, or 2 of the other ones had. And so like it has kind of haunted me, and I've been able to do it at home at practice, but I've never been able to make it to the finals or whatever that you would be doing a double cut for. And even here, I was 3rd. Josh was ranked right below me, but if he got the double and I didn't get the double, he would have beaten me, right? And then I watched him. He went first because he went first in every single feat, and did an amazing job in each one. And he didn't get the double cut, and I'm like, okay, I have a chance to get a medal here. So let me try my best, and I got it, and I was like so happy. You can see me like having like a little mini heart attack afterwards. I'm like, and then I was just like, but the other 2 people had higher scores than me. So if either of them had gotten the double cut, they would have still beaten me at this point. And so I just had to watch each of them cut, knowing that there's nothing I could do at that point. And when neither of them
cutting, right?
Well, and when neither of them got it, I was just like,
yep, doors
I
wide
won.
open.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, a couple things. First, shout out to Josh, because he's actually quite new. He's been training. He started HEMA like in, I think, February or March, and he's only trained cutting for like 2 or 3 months. But he's come very consistently to the training sessions we've had, and he's really been putting in a lot of the time. So he's shout out to him. He's made it to finals. He did very well.
The other thing too is he would cut first specifically so that he could then push from all of the debris away for all of the other fencers. So like, he was not doing it just, obviously it helps with the nerves and stuff if you're first, but like it's great that he was doing it specifically so he could help out as well.
Yeah, we love Josh.
Awesome.
The other thing about the double cut is going back to the point about the point weights, because in most other tournaments a double cut is worth 2 cuts, so it often doesn't make a tremendous amount of difference. So normally it's worth 40 points. This time we made it to be worth 80 points. I kind of took this inspiration from Kevin Spencer when he ran Hilt, to where the first point was worth 20 points, so like a standard points value for the first one, but the second cut was worth 60 points. So if you succeeded in the double cut, you got a lot more points. You'll still get partial if you get the first one but not the second one. But I did want to make the double cut matter. for this tournament, and it worked out very well in John's favor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So those. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what was the modifier for advanced?
Yes. So the modification for advanced. So instead of a double cut, I made them do a ribbon cut. Which, what a ribbon cut is if you think about the same side double cut, where you're cutting from one side and then you're coming around and doing the same side. This one is the first cut needs to be with the false edge, and you're coming around and doing a descending cut with a true edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had them do that. It is one of my favorite feats. It's one of my favorite cuts. Mainly because I do it well fairly frequently.
Yeah. Careful, you're training people to do it like you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no one actually got it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No one.
No, it's done.
Yeah. No one succeeded.
No one Dan had to show him how it was done.
Yeah, and then my thought process at that moment, it's like, well, dang, I told everyone what was going to happen. I was like, I kind of promised the audience they'll get to see one. So I've been sitting here all day while cutting is happening, and I haven't gone to cut at all. And so it's like, yeah, I'm kind of like chomping at the bit to cut, because I'm like, I love cutting and I can't do it because I'm running this event.
It's hard when you're running an event. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I decide, like, all right, I'm doing this. I'm gonna try it. If nothing else, but just like get like put a sword in my hand. And so I get up, like I decide to do this, and I get up, and then like AJ like goes like starts telling the audience like, oh yeah, it's Dan's signature cut. It's like, and then Isaac, photographer, another fairly new club member, he's going like, yeah, he's never failed this. I'm like, oh man, the pressure's on. I better not fail it. Right. And so I get up there and I do successfully complete the feat. So I think that was a really good way to end off the event.
With the atrium?
Yeah, it was with the atrium.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, same sword everyone else used. So no excuses.
I will say one thing I didn't expect with this is he did require us to step with the initial cut. And that was something that I hadn't seen in other cutting or other double cut feats. And so when he said that, and we were like, I looked at Josh because he and I were going up first, and we both kind of like tried a passing step, said no, and then both tried a push step, like, just ghost cutting.
I prefer to step with this personally.
What was that?
I prefer to do a step with this one.
Well, and that's what I realized is that the push cut that I did, that like push step I did, kind of also gave me forward momentum so that it wasn't all just upward. Yep. And I think that really just kind of, helped a little bit with that as well. So
yeah. So in the
if you send your sword forward with a on that kind of cut, your sword is more like the trajectory of your sword is more likely to stay flat. So in my opinion, doing for a double cut, doing it with a step for the first one is to your advantage. With that being said, we did require steps for a lot of the cuts on this, at least for the first cut for any sort of continuous one. And because it's the SoCal way. Come to SoCal Sword Fight, we're going to require you to do a step too.
I mean, it makes sense. You want to cut like you're fighting, right? You don't just want to stand there and cut, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, in the Japanese arts, when we do the double cut, it's never just a double cut, right? It's always, descending first, and then you take a little sliver of the top of the mat off. And the double cut. So whenever I do double cuts, if you watch me, I actually start and I mimic that first cut without actually doing it. And then I do my double, and that forces that step in there just because I'm so used to doing that.
That's actually how I do my middles, is that like, hey, my middle hows do very well when I'm doing it in a double cut. So the next time I need to do a middle, I'm gonna do the motion of a double cut, so I get the middles right.
It helps, right? So yeah, whatever helps you. So I think if I were to stand there and try a double cut, I probably couldn't do it. I'll have to try it next time though. That'll be fun. So yeah, I guess closing thoughts on the tournament, and we'll jump to the close out here. We got a couple other things to go through. I actually have one truth or myth that's going to come up next. I actually wanted to ask you guys about. I'm pretty sure you guys know the answer, but it's fun.
I hope so.
But yeah, closing thoughts on the tournament. John, you want to start?
I thought it was fantastically creative. I love the amount of effort put into like the actual math of it and making sure it was balanced and fair. Dan actually has a full spreadsheet and has a specific sheet for every single fighter showing all the deductions and stuff. He wasn't able to put it all into scorecard, but it was one of those that like I love the attention to detail into this kind of tournament. And I don't think we mentioned it, but aside from the trophies.
Oh yeah, I forgot you want a sword.
Oh yes.
I was not expecting there to actually be a prize. I just wanted to be in the open tournament because I'd never, even medaled in an open tournament before. This was actually the sword that everyone used for the paper cutting. It's a Valiant Armory Marseille. Is that how you pronounce it?
I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but that is the model.
Yeah.
This was the paper cutting loaner, and it was also the prize. Because I wasn't initially planning on offering a prize. I think it would have been great, but it's like I don't know how I'm gonna like afford this. Like I'm not gonna ask the club to pay for a prize. And it's like I don't necessarily want to like do it on my own personal collection. But because at Combat Con I took gold and I won a Valiant, it's like, oh, free sword. And so I ended up like they gave me a sword, and I ended up like trading it in for like one I liked a little bit better. And it's like free sword. I could offer this as a prize, and it wouldn't cost me anything. I wouldn't have lost anything from it. So it's like, you know what, this would be nice to offer as a prize. And we kept it to open. I don't think advanced people need they don't need swords.
Yeah, so if you guys ever need, trophies in terms of swords and stuff, I mean, we try to, myself, Valiant, Mike. I know it's hard to ask, but feel free to ask.
I feel bad.
Yeah, no. Everybody says, "Hey, I feel bad, but can you please?" And we're always, if we can, right? We're always willing to help. We're not always in the position that we can, but if we can, we'll definitely lend a hand. We usually try to send a couple prize pieces out. We did Combat Con every year. I gave a couple pieces of SoCal. It wasn't last year, I think, or maybe it was last year. No, I think it was 2 years ago. But last year I was like, "Hey, do you guys need anything?" And there were I forgot who I talked to. I think I talked to Chris at the time. He's like, "No, I think we're good." So, but yeah, anytime you guys need something, just let us know. And I don't want to speak for everybody else, but I know what they're going to say. They're like, "Yeah, we'll help out." So, because we like these tournaments,
okay.
So
I'll keep that in mind because again, we might run another tournament next year.
Yeah, well, I mean, we love tournaments, and I love competing as well. So, we want them to keep going and get bigger and bigger. So, John, guess what's in store for you then?
Advanced.
Yep.
Yeah. You have no more excuses, John.
Yeah, you got to be an advanced cutting.
To be fair,
you're doing tier A.
I went to Combat Con with Chris and watched him compete in his first open, and he used a sharpened blunt that he had and won the damn tournament. And I remember him just going like, "What's his Vercow?" And like, not. Yeah, so at least I get to follow you guys. So thank you.
Yeah. So I had come up. The only European stuff I did was mostly Fiore. So I was like, I don't do that. Like, so I was like, how do I do this? So thanks for the help there, and excited to have you in advanced cutting. Advanced cutting, the pool of advanced cutters is growing, which is great. So yeah, excited for that. Thanks, Dan, for everything you guys and AJ as well. We were hoping to try to get AJ on, but I wasn't sure if Josh was going to be able to make it. And we can't have too many folks on the stream, so we'll have to get AJ on though at some point. But yeah, awesome tournament.
I know he would love to.
Yeah, so AJ, we'll get you on.
And congrats, AJ, on the little one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And congrats again for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Baby Moon, we finished on time. We didn't drag on for too long.
That's
No
good.
one got hurt, and
That's good.
no one's mad at me, at least to my face. So I think that was a pretty successful tournament. And yeah, like John, you'd mentioned that I made a whole spreadsheet for the scoring. The primary reason for that, it's like I don't know scorecard very well. I'm gonna try to make this so I don't have to wrestle with it as much.
It
But
worked.
It
was
worked out
great.
pretty well. The logic was good.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I hope I can make the next one. So, speaking of which, are both you guys going to Fright Fight?
I am.
I
John?
don't think I'm able to swing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
I
miss you
did.
there.
I was about to mention, Chris. Caleb will be joining us for advanced at Fright
Oh, yeah,
Fight.
that's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
Caleb's in advance too. So,
He doesn't
he's-
get to use my sword this time.
yeah,
But he is training, and he does have
Yeah, I was
a
gonna say-
medallion he won at Combat Con.
yeah. Did he get the Tolero?
He got the Ansbach.
Mhm.
Oh, the Onspot. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be training over at his place. Hopefully in a couple weekends, right?
Oh yeah, on the 4th you're coming.
I'm gonna try.
you go.
We have some folks here seeing the farm on that day, but I'm hoping I can get out and head over there. In fact, we might. So, he lives not too far from KSC, and I might, if my wife can join me, we'll take a trip over there the next day. So, because we haven't been there in a bit. So, all right. So on to the next section, by the way, because we're already at the hour here. But so real quick, next section. Truth or myths. So funny enough, this happens. I saw this comment this morning as I was going through some tournament stuff, and this was a very common comment that I see, and that is, I can't remember exactly how it was phrased, but essentially is, tatami is an easy medium to cut, and all tatami is the same, essentially. Was the comment.
I think.
So, I was curious on your guys' thought there.
I think the people who say that have never cut tatami.
Yep.
Uh,
Or they've only
but-
cut once on it, and it was a very easy tatami, right?
Yeah, and they had a sharp sword, and
Because my first time ever cutting tatami, I didn't make it through. I think my first 2 times ever trying to cut tatami, I never made it through. I was always bonking it all the time. I'd get like maybe halfway through. I never actually cut all the way through it. My first time. I've seen it with like several students. Yeah, I think people who say it's really easy have never actually done it. And something that I've also observed is that anytime we have someone who primarily fights and doesn't really cut, anytime we have them try cutting for the first time, the most common feedback we get is, "You guys make this look so easy," because they'll struggle. The tatami puts up a fight.
Yeah, exactly. John, were you gonna say anything?
yeah. I was gonna tell them about the time that you and I did cut over at your old house, where we did not use new tatami mats. Which, thank you to Kageyama for having a manufacturer that comes to the U.S. and we're able to get fresh tatami made specifically for tamashigiri / practice cutting. But we are using Nihonzashi, which uses used tatami.
Much
And-
harder.
Oh my gosh, it's interesting too because it varies mat to mat, and you can even see like some of them they try to remove all the staples and stuff. It's literally Japanese flooring.
Yep.
And so
Well, it's even
some
worse.
yeah, so and like the tatami tea that comes from that, it's
It's terrible. It smells like diapers, right? But AJ is gonna know what it smells like. But yeah, so that's what I was gonna say is, I've had tatami. Funny enough, so I was doing an event for Adrian Paul Sword Experience where we did a cutting session, and I was running that, and we did not get the new tatami we were supposed to get. It didn't show up, and I was like, "What do we do?" So we had like a week left, so I ordered tatami off of Amazon of all places. I was like, it says it's there and it says it's going to be on time. I don't have any other option. So I ordered tatami off Amazon. I have no idea where it came from. It got there in time. we rolled it, and you just could not get a tight roll with it. It was really weird. It definitely wasn't used. It was new, but you couldn't roll it tight. Like no matter how tight you rolled it, it just didn't seem like it was tight. Too. So when we soaked it, I was really worried because everybody there had never cut before. And I was like, oh, this is going to be terrible. Nobody's going to be able to get through this. And even though I had some really nice, really easy swords to cut with, I was super nervous. So I tested it out ahead of time. So we soaked everything overnight. Next day, set up. And, I just went for it because I figured the tatami was so loose. Even after soaking, it was still like loose. And I was like, this is going to be really difficult to cut. When I went to cut it, man, it cut like a water bottle. It was like not even there. I was like, holy crap, that's super easy. So I don't know why it was so easy to cut, but that was by far. You could probably do a triple, maybe even a quadruple mat, and it still wouldn't feel like a normal tatami mat. That's how easy it was to cut.
Were those the like beach mats or whatever that they sell on Amazon?
Well, that's what I thought were they beach mats, but no, it said. Well, I mean, it could have been, right? But it said tatami. But yeah, so going from that to normal tatami, which is my standard is the used tatami, just because that's what I have more experience with. So I used tatami, a 2-inch, a normal round of tatami in the used market is about equivalent to like a 2-inch piece of bamboo. But that, I think, so Phil says the used tatami is about twice. If you were to do a double roll of normal tatami, that's about equivalent to a used tatami. I don't think it's quite that much, but it's close. So tatami is kind of all over the place. so yeah, I think we all recommend the I always pronounce that wrong. Johnny just said it correctly.
Kageyama.
Yeah, Kageyama. There you go. I think we all recommend him. I don't know. Are there any other good sources right now?
No, not at the moment.
Don't go to Amazon.
Well, I've seen people have tatami that looks very similar, and I'm wondering if they're sourcing it from like the same place overseas. But I think as far as like established vendors in the States, I think it's just Kageyama. Okay. I have not actually had the privilege of cutting like used tatami. I don't know of a way to get my hands on it around here. I also don't want to try too hard because I know it's very stinky.
Yeah, it is. That's a downside. It smells terrible. There is a Armory group out there. They'll have it. They'll have a huge supply of it too.
Okay.
I'm not sure the name of that group though. But yeah, so Neon Zashi is. I think they still have a pretty big presence online. But they're actually pretty close to where I used to live, and great group of folks. And yeah, so if I ever need any used tatami, I usually go there. There was a shortage for quite a while. I don't know if that's still true. Hopefully not. But yeah, so I'm used to that. So when I'm cutting the normal stuff, it feels a little easier to me. But then I haven't practiced in years, so so I need to actually practice.
I have also experienced the kind of tatami you were describing earlier, where it's like, well, I can't just like, why is this loose all the time? Like I've had a roll where it's like, where it's super loose no matter what I do, and but yeah, it cuts super easily.
Yeah, the nice thing with that is everybody in that class, by the way, successfully cut. So I was like, yes. So it was good for that day.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually thought the myth or fact you were going to ask about tatami was it's a perfect simulator for limbs, etc.
Oh.
And it doesn't have bones in it.
That's I'd say that's FUD lore.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a fairly consistent medium that doesn't hurt your edge as much.
Right. Yeah, I'm hesitant to say. I mean, obviously, folks have cut pigs and other actual organic mediums before. So I don't know if I could compare anything like that to. I mean, there's not a limb this big on a pig, right? So there's no way to know. So
like I've known some folks to like cut through like more organic mediums like that, and I can't speak for their experience just because I haven't done it myself, and I can only kind of repeat what their kind of like rough impression was, and their impression was more that like it's not too different, but that's not really a virtue of the tatami, but it's more like it's just kind of, it's a soft target.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we got to get you guys cutting some bamboo because that's a hard target. So it's a bit different, a lot different feedback. So yeah,
you were telling me I think you told me back in Valley of the Sun that the Munich is a good sword for bamboo.
It can be
with a thicker edge like that.
Yeah, it can be. It depends on the cut feet that you're trying to do, but yeah. So usually stouter edges are a little bit better on bamboo. Not always, but bamboo requires definitely. I mean, if you're off angle on bamboo, it'll tell you. So you'll get stuck in it.
Use the Munich.
Yeah. So I have seen a lot of folks lose their blades by being off angle on bamboo because it's strong enough just to yank it right out of your hand. So
I didn't know that.
I mean, that's a bit bigger bamboo. That's more like 2.5, 3 inch, but normal 2 inches is about the same as the tatami mat, so it's not too bad.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, we got one more section here, and this is more personal for Sterling Armory, but in the works. So at this time, we usually talk about the blades and stuff we're doing. We just had a sword talk where we did that with Josh and Colton. So. And Ryan also talked about that too. But I did have one other thing that's in the works that I wanted to bring up. And I thought I downloaded the images. Now I can't find them. So, give me one sec here. This is a little embarrassing. Where did that file go? Oh, here we go. So we have some new T-shirts coming out. Everybody loved our Oakshot topology shirts. So we updated our Oakshot topology. So yeah, our new shirts will have this. So we do have, so there's a couple different updates here actually. So I updated the topology with my own artwork for each of the blades. And I stopped it at 20A. And I noticed most of the other topologies don't have 18D or E. So depending on which Oakshot book you're reading, that's a thing or it's not a thing, right? So I wanted to include those because we do like making those.
I don't know if I've ever seen an 18D in person.
You probably have, but you just may not have realized it was an 18D.
I probably wouldn't have.
Yeah. So like the majority of side swords that are diamond ground are 18Cs or 18Ds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's just a side sword. That's all it is. In fact, a lot of them have the finger rings and everything on them too. Okay. But yeah, we had to add to personalize it really for Sterling Armory, the War Bear type. So we hope you guys like that. The shirt will look. We'll have white, black, and gray. I keep doing the wrong thing here. And they'll have the Sterling Armory logo on it as well. So they'll look like that. Nice. So we'll have black. So at Combat Con, we sold out of our whites and our blacks of this specific shirt like immediately. We were like, wow, we didn't expect those to be so popular. So that's why we updated them, and then we're going to do the gray as well. So I'm wearing a gray currently, but not that particular shirt. So yeah, that's up and coming for us. So hopefully you'll see. If you're at Fright Fight, we should have them in by then. So if you're interested in one of those, let us know. We're also going to try to get them on the website. And then all of our other shirts with the Hemo artwork on them that we like, all the fun freezes, right? Those are always for sale if you guys ever want any. Okay. So hopefully you guys like those shirts. I thought that would be fun to add a twist on it to really make it a Sterling Armory shirt. Okay. So, outro. So thanks, guys, for joining. Before we drop, though, do you want to let everybody know where they can find you and any upcoming events you guys might be doing? John, you want to start?
Sure. At John the Sax Guy for most of my socials, etc. I also loved you talking about shirts. I asked my co-founder to design a shirt that says "Comics" with Comic Sans, and he made me a shirt. Yeah.
There we go.
Because I specifically requested a Comic Sans Hema t-shirt, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. So, but yeah, we'll see where I end up around.
So yeah, we won't catch that Fright Fight. Any chance to come down to Sarasota Medieval Fair?
For what?
Sarasota Medieval Fair.
Sarasota. No idea.
We'll catch you at a cutting practice.
Grad school is great.
Yeah, hopefully, if we do any cutting practice, maybe we can try to vlog it. So that'd be
Oh
pretty
yeah,
fun.
absolutely, that'd be great.
All right, Dan, up to you.
All right. So I'm not particularly active on social media. So even if you find me, you're not gonna find a whole lot. So I'm not gonna bother too much showing those. But you'll definitely see me at Fright Fight coming up.
Hey.
You'll see me at SoCal Sword Fight. I'm helping to organize that, at least on the cutting side. Chris, we might take you up on if you want to sponsor for a prize. Yeah, feel free to reach out to Mickey for really anything SoCal Sword Fight related. She's kind of spearheading the whole event this time around.
Okay. Yeah, when is SoCal next year? March?
The weekend of March 20th.
March 20th. Okay. Oh, you guys already have the date. Okay. I'll have
Yeah.
to make sure it's on the calendar.
Yep, save the date. We'd love to have you.
Sad we don't have Valley.
I know.
There might be something else there. We'll see. There might be an announcement coming. Who knows? But keep an eye out.
Yeah, for sure. Let us know.
Alrighty. Well, and again, my name's Chris. You can find me at Sterling Armory on Facebook and Instagram and our website now. And then the wife is Shelby's running TikTok as well. So, we just passed 10,000 followers on our Facebook page, which was, that came out of nowhere. I was like, whoa. So that was pretty exciting.
I saw your recent post with Colton's new sword, the Elvish sword.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
It did some numbers.
Yep. It still is doing numbers, actually. So everybody loves that one. So yeah, that'll be, if you're going to the Salt Lake Open, we talked about last Sword Talk. If you're going to Salt Lake Open, it will be debuting there. We'll see if it lasts. I'm pretty sure it'll be gone in the first 10 minutes. But
it'll be gone really fast.
yeah, we'll see. So, alrighty. Well, thanks. Actually, hang on, guys. So I'm going to close the stream here, but don't step off just yet. I'm going to talk to you right after. So, all right. So for everyone watching, thanks for staying on for this long. This was actually a long one today. We thought it was going to be short, but so it came out being pretty long. So thanks for hanging on, and stay sharp, and we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, it's a delight. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming.